is indivisible, should remain together, only that the method in which Nigeria is run is wrong. Some of the takeaways here are very interesting. Of course, we have to change the way that leaders emerge in this country. If we talk about crap leadership, what about crap followership? There is serious crap followership in this country, because the issue of rights wouldn't arise if we had a good followership in this country that understands who should go to the House of Representatives, who should become a governor.
So you're blaming Nigerians and not your bosses.
Wait a minute.
Not your bosses.
Everybody has a role to play in the emergence of a good Nigeria. Because a good Nigeria will not just emerge if only leaders are blamed. The followership must be educated as to who they want to vote for.
Okay, the gentleman in the striped shirt right there. I literally got to come back to this panel very quickly.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Nyanso Ekanem. I work for Wear Capacity Limited, an infrastructure firm. First, I'll be described as one of those you call professionals. And it's interesting that professionals are now coming to the table to discuss Nigeria. Because at some point we've left that and said, okay, let's leave it to the politicians. But the truth is, a couple of years back, I'll be watching this on TV, then we'll debate at the office or at our homes. But I think professionals, in quotes, should start discussing Nigeria and getting involved and very active in politics, get voted for or vote. Secondly, representation. We've allowed representation to define who governs us. So if someone is appointed a minister, we all go to him because we are looking for dividend of democracy from that minister. Someone was appointed NFF, Nigeria Football Association, chairman, and there was a big party in his village. They had his picture on their T-shirts and wrappers because they want something from him. But unfortunately, that's not how Nigeria should be run. Okay. But thirdly, please, the last one.
No. Seriously, I have to come back to my panel.
Thank you very much.
So I can't. This is the last gentleman in green, and then we're coming back. Okay, quickly, really quickly.
Well, I think just to throw a pose.
Who are you, please?
Sam Amadi,
okay, sit down, sir. Sit down, sir.
I think Chidi and I would like to resolve this conflict between Chidi and Odia. Primarily, the idea of an ethnic state or ethnic enclave. You talk about Germany. Those communities were not ethnically defined. They were communities. So we can decentralize, build governance from bottom line, but should it be an ethnic identity? I think the problem with restructuring is the sense of a unitary identity. So should it be ethnic, or should we all have citizens, democratic citizenship, so that we define people by belonging to a community in an accessible, universal form?
So the identity question. Yes, sir. Finally, the final comment.
Thank you very much. My name is Chris Kwaja with the Center for Peace and Security Studies, Modibarma University of Technology in Yola. I think my point has to do with the kind of institutions that have emerged over time. I remember in 2010, Obama made this statement about the tension between strong leaders and weak institutions in Africa. And I think that is, for me, is very crucial to what we are discussing. If you are talking about restructuring, restructuring must be something that should respond to the kind of institutions we have. Because the leaders that have driven these institutions have been responsible for the kind of bastardization we've been talking about.
Okay, so how do you restructure to take into account the fact that we have weak institutions in Nigeria? Quickly, please.
Leadership, very fundamental. And the leadership we're talking about is not one where the process is militarized.
Okay, he said that, so I have to stop you.
I differ a bit with his
No, unfortunately, I don't have the time. You don't understand. There's a lot of... Prof, last person, and then we will come to this way to close the program.
My name is Anthony Killer. I'm the Center Director for the Center for International Advanced and Professional Studies in Lagos. I think whatever we want to do, one of the things we have to shift away from the Nigerian system is our allergy for truth and objectivity. We have created a nation based on lies. We have forced people to hate their tribes to become Nigeria, and it doesn't work. And I'll say one thing, last thing. We're having this discussion, bad as Nnamdi Kanu is. Without Nnamdi Kanu, we won't be having the discussion we're having tonight.
Thank you very much. I've got 4 minutes, so 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute to round up, starting with you, Dr. Ibrahim.
The people of this country believe in and want to engage in democratic processes. Our leaders are very skilled in dismantling the democracy that exists in our Constitution. Moving forward, process is very important. Deepening democracy is central to the recovery of a sense of belonging, but above all, to running governance in the interest of the people of this country.
Mr. Ofemo?
We must do what the Indians did. They created proper cultural geographies, and what our own Awolowo told us to do is crisscross those cultural geographies with a common morality, a common welfare policy, so that irrespective of where you live, irrespective of the ethnic group you belong to in Nigeria, no matter where you move to, you will get education for your children, employment, and old age pensions. It is possible. We have the means to do it. And I think we should stop pretending that you will not restructure. We will restructure.
Chris?
Yeah, moving forward, I think that we need to fight corruption, because nothing will work except that is done. Who are those important generators that will not allow the factories to run? Why is it that a Dangote that has so much money will enjoy waiver and the common man in Aba cannot get waiver? How come that we will submit budget in September and it will be passed in July? We must unmax those behind these sort of small, less than 0.5% running down this country. We should unmax them and expose them, and we'll move on.
Professor Odinkalu.
Cheta asked a question, short, medium, long term, what we can do. I tend to agree with him that we've got a problem with with jobs and skills, and that's driving a lot. And in my, I agree with much of what's been said here politically. I'll just list 3 things. First of all, I think we should remove labor from the exclusive legislative list. I don't think it is right to insist that everybody earns the same thing in Yobe, in Imo, and in Lagos, irrespective of productivity. That's number 1. That will mean we can free up money to create more jobs. Number 2, and that indeed is also restructuring. Number 2, I think we need to, the body language has got to change. We should not have waited 2 years to have an economic recovery and growth strategy. We should have had a president on the first day of the tenure going to the National Assembly, addressing National Assembly and declaring a state of economic emergency and rallying the country behind him. And finally, jobs and labor should be in the National Defense and Security Council, because that is our biggest single national security problem.
Thank you very much to my panel. You have been watching The Core, and we were discussing Biafra and whether it was a metaphor for restructuring. My panel, Professor Odinkalu, Celestine, Mr. Ofemun, and Dr. Ibrahim, thank you so much. My distinguished studio audience, I know many of you were not very happy at the time you had to speak. I do apologize. Unfortunately, there is not much we can do. Thank you so much. And you can carry on the conversation on Twitter and also on our Facebook and all the other platforms that we have for the social conversation. Join us again next month, when we will have another edition of The Core. On behalf of Ford Foundation, who made this conversation possible, I am Kadria Ahmed, wishing you a very good evening.